Hi again, folks. In this video, we're going to take a look at the fact we have 3 first rounders. And let's look at the other historical times that we did as well. Coming up. All right, for the record, third time in history. The Sabres have, you'll hear twice, it's the third. It's the third time in history that the Sabres have 3 first rounders going into the draft. And this should be very interesting because I've always compared, guys, as you know, I've always compared this era to the '83 team. You've heard me say it many times. And now I didn't even realize just, how much it really is closing in on that, because we are kind of in the same boat that Scotty was back in the day when the kids were, trying to turn the corner and become something back in the early '80s. And we came really close, guys. We did. For those of you that didn't see '83, it was a special run. We swept the mighty Habs in the first round, 3 straight, 2 shutouts in Montreal. I went to both games. I was at both those games. And then we came back and wrapped them up at home, 3 straight. And then we played the Bruins, who were the top team in the league, and and it went to Game 7 in overtime before we bowed out there. But in that Game 7, we were up 3-1 and 2-0. So, as heartbreaking as it is, I'd rather move on and talk about something else here. Anyway, let's take a look at the first clip, and this will just give you an idea what we're facing in a few days' time. And there you see all the Sabres selections for this draft. And we got the number 9, number 16, number 28, as we all know. And then we move on, and we have the number 41, let's not forget. So we have 4 of the first 41 picks in this upcoming draft. Then we hit 74, 106, 134, 170, 187, 202, 211. That's probably where we'll be drafting a goalie if we do. That'd be my guess, guys. I mean, we might just use that one of those 7th rounders just to pick a goalie we have our eyes on out in Europe or something. Who knows, So let's take a look and compare to a degree what we had going on back then, and here we are 40 years later, and it's kind of come full circle. So let's open up this clip. There's 2. I'm going to show you the '82. This is the first draft where we had 3 first rounders. And there you see it, guys. Number 6, Phil Housley. Number 9, Paul Cyr. And number 16, Dave Andreychuk. And if you look at Housley's numbers and you look at Andreychuk's numbers, they were really clearly, very clearly, probably the 2 best picks of that first round. And ironically, Paul Cyr was the one that Scotty Bowman was so high on, I recall. Yeah, I remember Scotty was talking about Paul Cyr back then, and they were asking him, how is it that this team, is... What's the plan for the future? Because they had a small rink. He was trying to build a big team with a small home ice. We had one of the smallest rinks in the league. Us and the Bruins were notably 2 of the smallest rinks in hockey. And the Sabres are a rough and tough team, rough and tough enough, where they wanted to build a big team, which you could see was doing right there with a guy like Dave Andreychuk right away. So. After that, and if you looked at that, it was number 6, number 9, and ironically, number 16, like this year, number 9 and 16. So we shall see, if we draft 2 Hall of Famers, can we do something like that this year? Would be just amazing, right? Now, let's look at the next clip. This is the other year where we had 3 first rounders again. And there it is, the next year, 1983. So in '83, we drafted at number 5, Tom Barrasso. You might notice right before that was a guy named Steve Yzerman, and right before that, Pat LaFontaine. And yep, Buffalo drafted Tom Barrasso in the first round. And then later on down the line, at number 10, we drafted Norman Lacombe. And number 11, Adam Creighton. And the truth is, Adam Creighton, Norman Lacombe, I remember kind of, so it doesn't say much when you kind of have a memory. I completely remember Adam Creighton, because Adam Creighton was like this big centerman, you know? And if you looked in this draft, we drafted a winger, a centerman, a goalie. And the draft before, 2 wingers and a defenseman. Bowman was building up the team. This was what he was doing. He was building up a team. He was building it with size. Barrasso was a big goalie. Adam Creighton was a big centerman, you know? Lacombe, if I go look at his, if I'd have to go look at his height and stuff, I really haven't, because it just didn't pan out, you know? But looking back at these days, I tell you guys, I have a very hard time believing it's 40 years ago. My goodness. You know, how the time does fly, but it's 40 years ago. Now, let's check. Yeah, Lacombe was 5'11", 205. So if we're going to look back and compare in any way, shape, or form, it's probably going to be the same exact thing, guys, I'm guessing, in this draft. There's no way to predict. Sorry, guys, give me a sec here, because I am still sweating a little. And you have to forgive me, because I'm still not 100%. If we're going to do anything right in this draft, okay, it's not, you know, we don't have to panic. I don't want to see them panic and go, oh my God, we got to get a right shot defenseman or something like that. Take the best player. You know, it's the NHL, guys. Take the best player. It's not like, it's not rocket science, you know. You take the best guy that you believe, that your whole scouting staff believes is the actual best player left at that very moment. All the pains and tears and blood and tears, everything, all the work, all the hard work you've put into scouting and everything, all has to come down to that second, that decision. And if we can make sure we just draft the right players, and not all of them work out, because take a look. You know, Paul Cyr was the guy that Bowman, I remember how high Bowman was on him back then. And it just never happened. He just kind of was average. He really was. But then you had a guy like Phil Housley and Dave Anderchuk. These guys became Hall of Fame players, you know, and Barrasso went on to do very well in his career. So you're going to hit jackpot sometimes, but you're also going to strike out. And I figure, guys, if we get 2 out of 3 right, we're doing pretty damn good. You know, if we can get 2 guys, one of them has a great career, the other one has a very solid career, and the other one, let's say, just didn't work out, and we moved him or whatever it is. I think we could all live with that, because if you go back and you look at any first round, you're going to see guys that were drafted in the first round that some of them never played one NHL game in their career. And you'll say, Wayne, how is that possible, right? I mean, how is it when you got staff and you've got money, millions of dollars to invest into investigating these youngsters and getting to understand them and their play and their personality? You got to remember, back then, it wasn't like now with these interviews and everything, you know? And this is where I think Adams' philosophy comes in, guys, is the fact that Adams is very adamant on the culture. He's adamant on the culture, not on a guy that's into self, which for me is gold, okay? It's gold. I don't care. I'd rather have a guy that's less into self, and he maybe isn't as talented as the guy that maybe we could have picked. Because in the long run, you're saving yourself problems, I believe. I just do. And not because of Jack Eichel. Really, not because of Jack Eichel. I just believe that you stay away from self-centered behavior. You just stay away from it. And if the Sabres can go and they can just pick the right guys, real character kids, you know, then we're doing okay. We're going to be batting okay, the way I see it. We'll be fine, you know. And we cannot go into this draft and have the absolute stud. Like, you guys have been seeing how I'm talking about Connor Geekie, right? I've had my eye kind of on this kid. I'm hoping that the Sabres pick him up. I'm not going to panic if they don't. If they have a chance to pick him up and they don't, then I have to trust that they know what they're doing, right? They bypassed him for a reason if they did. No other reason than that, you know? If he's a real character kid, we'll probably draft him, I figure. I figure that's what the Sabres will do. They will go into this draft, they will draft character. Of course, you're going to look for talent. Don't get me wrong. You're going to look for talent. But if you got a mixture of just a bit less talent, but a ton of character, I think that's what they're going to go after. And that's what I hope they go after, guys. I really do. Because, you know, they took, Colorado took the worst scenario when they lost the lottery and drafted this kid named Cale Makar. And it really worked out good for them still. So you just got to draft the right character player at the time and develop them into whatever you can. And that's it. It's not rocket science, I figure. You know? Can we do this? Can we do this right? Can we put this puzzle together right? Well, we're going to see, guys. The draft is right around the corner. So we're going to see in a little time. I'm going to get to your videos. I want to see who you guys picked for 9/16. I haven't peeked once at it. I've been too damn sick. But I am going to check the 9/16/28s that you guys picked. See if anybody even came close to the guys I picked, because there's just no way to know, right? Who's going to be around, who's not going to be around. I'm excited for it because this is going to be a big year, I believe, guys, going forward. This summer is key, because we're not going to have 3 first-rounders maybe for another 40 years, maybe in your lifetimes. This is it, this draft, okay? This draft is it. This is the one where we got to cash in on and make sure we cash in properly, not draft 2 busts. So far, I trust Adams when it comes to drafting. I don't know how you guys feel. I trust him. So this is the biggest year, maybe in 40 years, for this franchise at the draft table. And we'll see you in that. All right, folks, that's it. I just wanted to yak a bit about this because it's brought back a lot of memories. But I am going to, I got one more video to do, and I might do another one tonight, depending how I feel. See you in the next one, guys.